While creating HTML files, the common problem that you face is every time when you modify something in the HTML file, you need to manually save the file and then go to the browser, then refresh the page, then only you will be able to see the actual change. In order to skip manual refresh in the web page, you can use a third-party extension in Visual Studio Code, that is Live Server. So in this lecture, we are learning how to install Live Server extension in Visual Studio Code and how to use it really. So in order to do this, install the latest version of Visual Studio Code and open your application by using File menu Open Folder instead of File menu Open File. That means you need to always open the folder in order to work with the Live Server. So go to the File menu Open Folder, then select the appropriate folder. In my case, it is C:\web. After opening the folder, you will be able to see the folder name in the Explorer window, and it shows all the files of that particular folder. And of course, you can double click on any one of these files in order to open it. And now you need to install Live Server, which is one of the third-party extensions in Visual Studio Code. In order to do so, click on Extensions icon, which is the bottom left icon, and search for the extensions, that is Live Server. This is the one that you require. As of now, its version is 5.6.1, and click on Install. The installation is completed. That means it shows Uninstall button instead of Install button. Now close this extensions window. Come back to the Explorer window. So Live Server has been installed on your Visual Studio Code now. In order to really use it, just right click anywhere in the editor window. That means right click on the empty area. Find an option called Open with Live Server. So in this case, the current working folder, that is C:\web, will be mapped to a port number. That means you will be able to run the application by using localhost port number, whereas localhost refers to current working machine. So I just click on Open with Live Server. So as you can see, the default port number is 5500 and 127.0.0.1 is by default refers to localhost, which eventually refers to the current working machine which you are using right now. And the port number 5500 is mapped to the folder called C:\web, which is opened in Visual Studio Code. So any request sent to 5500 is by default redirected to the particular folder, that is C:\web. And in that folder, whatever the files exist, you are able to access them. Currently, we have destinations.html, so the content will be loaded from the destinations.html. For example, in the same folder, I would like to execute the states.html, so I am writing states.html instead of that. So we can see the states.html now. Like this, in Visual Studio Code, open the desired folder in VS Code and use Open with Live Server option in order to execute the HTML file which is currently opened. And in case if you want to switch to another folder, use the option Stop Live Server and then go to File menu Open Folder again in order to switch to other folder. The benefit of Live Server is that every time when you modify anything in the HTML file and save it, automatically the page gets refreshed in the browser. That means internally it keep examine your changes to your HTML file and immediately refresh the page when you modify and save it. For example, I just modify something in the HTML file. Suppose I am writing states in India. The moment once you save the file by using Ctrl S, automatically page gets refreshed in the browser. Of course, you need to open the destinations.html by using open with live server, but not by double clicking on the HTML file in the folder. Let me modify the code again. So I'm just writing something like hello and I'm just saving it. Automatically page gets refreshed. Let me arrange the windows side by side. So here I am just writing hi and then save it. Immediately on the right hand side you can see the page gets refreshed. So the benefit of the live server is that you just modify the code and save it. Automatically it refreshes the page in the browser. So in the real life of the developer, hundreds of or thousands of times the code is modified and then refresh. So in all the times, the manual time and effort of refreshing the page in the browser is getting saved here. This is how to use the live server in Visual Studio Code.